Shri Gurubhyo Namah Harihi Om Dhyayamo Dhavalavagunthanavatim Tejomayim Naishtikim Snigdhapangavilokinim Bhagavatim Mandasmita Shrimukhim Vatsalyamritavarshiniim Sumadhuram Sankirtanalapiniim Shyamangim Madhusiktasuktim Amritanandatmikam Om Amriteshwaryai Namah Om Amriteshwaryai Namah Om Amriteshwaryai Namah. Om Amriteshwaryai Namah. Welcome to the third session of Hanuman Chalisa that we are going to discuss. The last two sessions were more or less introduction that we were looking into. The very first session we looked into just the path of Bhakti Yoga, just a gist of it. We also discussed about Jnana Yoga, tried to compare and contrast. And the last week we looked into Goswami Tulasidas, who is the author of Hanuman Chalisa, his life, the beautiful episodes in his life, etc. And then we moved on to, just so that we get a context of the whole situation of Lord Hanuman's relationship with Lord Rama. We went through the main episodes of Ramayana, and then we looked at the Indian map of Lord Rama's journey from north of India all the way down to Lanka, today Sri Lanka, to rescue Sita Devi. And in the course of discussing about Ramayana, we brought in various characters who kind of played a pivotal role in bringing up Ramayana the way it is. So if you remember the sequence last week, I'm just trying to put together various qualities, good and bad, together in a table so that we can summarize Ramayana just in terms of qualities. So if you could show the qualities, if you look at negativities and the goodness, we discussed about bad company, Mother Kaikeyi's company with her maid Manthara. Then she got negatively influenced by her, and because she got influenced, she was blinded in selfishness, and she got intoxicated by selfish thoughts. And then after that, she acted in haste without thinking. Think twice before you act. She forgot that. And all this we discussed was, more like predefined, etc. But there was definitely a reason why all these happened. And there was a backstory, a flashback for many of these, which we referred to, which we discussed briefly last week. And there were mistakes created, there were misdeeds done, and we discussed that these were as result of those mistakes or misdeeds that these happened. So mistakes, misdeeds, and all this created sorrow. Lord Rama was asked to go in exile, so that created sorrow. And Mother Kaikeyi immediately regretted what she did. So she did an act which was worth regretting later. So things that there was a sense of regret, or actions that we perform which could be regrettable later. Then we talked about how Mother Sita was obsessed with the golden deer obsession. She got a strong desire to have that. And when it was explained to her, she still was quite adamant that she wants it. And then we discussed about Lakshman Rekha, crossing limits. The moment she crossed across the line, she got abducted. She was abducted because Ravana, his sister Shurpanaka, they were all egoistic about their obsession, their power, and they acted adharmically. They acted against dharma, and through the act of deceit, he abducted Sita. And then, when Hanuman went to Sri Lanka, then Ravana's treatment towards him was quite rude, quite disrespectful, etc. So, we discussed all these negative qualities. And then we also discussed positive qualities as various developments happened. How Lord Rama, though he was sent to exile, on exile, he was so forgiving, he was understanding, he immediately accepted readily what his father told him. And brother Bharata, when he found out that Lord Rama was wrongly sent to the forest, he immediately forgot about him becoming the king. He went right there to meet Rama and convince him to come back. The brotherhood, the love, the respect, all the brothers, their adherence to dharma, their awareness about their duty, their responsibility, so dutifulness. They were not greedy about position, they were not greedy about power. And you know how Lakshmana and Lord Rama, they always preached to be within limit, to be within discipline, and when that didn't happen, things went out of control. And how Lord Hanuman showed clarity in his thoughts, in his communication. He was humble, he was matured, he got into a situation where he realized his true potential, he gained self-confidence, and then he created positive influence on Vibhishana. We discussed all these episodes. Anyway, we'll kind of revisit these during the course of Hanuman Chalisa. But I just thought we should summarize all these qualities together, because this is what defines life. When we talk about our own life, is full of good and bad qualities, whether it is our own personal mind, whether it's our family, whether it is at work, whether it is in satsang, whether it is any other friend circle or whatever community that we are part of, they are going to have good qualities and bad qualities. So the outside world is like that. We'll have good qualities and bad qualities. Life itself is like that. Experiences we are going to have in life also are going to have good and bad qualities. There is nothing like having only good qualities, only bad qualities. That's how the overall equilibrium of nature is maintained. At the same time, the inside world too, our mind, our thoughts, they all are influenced by good and bad qualities. So that's the very nature of the creation, our own self and the outside creation. We need to understand that quite well. So when the negativities took charge, what happened? Lord Rama had to leave Ayodhya. Ayodhya lost the grace of the Supreme, lost the presence and the guidance of Lord Rama, who was incarnation of Lord Vishnu. They lost that. And then when Sita Devi was bound by desire, when she was adamant, when she was obsessed, then Sita and Rama also had to part as per the story. Sita Devi could be equated to Jivatma, our individual soul, and Lord Rama as Paramatma, the supreme soul. The individual soul and supreme soul got separated, whereas they are not separate, they are one and the same. But experiences are such, our mind gets influenced such that we are not able to understand the oneness of the supreme soul, our oneness of our individual soul with the supreme soul. That is a very substratum of Advaita Siddhanta, the theory of Advaita, non-duality. They are one and the same. But because of these developments, the negative influence, these happened. Sita and Rama were separated. To bring Sita and Rama back together, who played an important role? Hanuman. Hanuman is the very representation of bhakti and dedication, devotion and dedication. when there is devotion and dedication, whatever be the negative effect we have, whatever be the positive effect we have, when there is devotion and dedication, we can grow up spiritually to a state wherein we realize the oneness of our individual soul with the Supreme Soul. So I feel the whole story of Ramayana is verily this very message, that life is a bag of both the dualities, dual experiences. But as long as we have bhakti, as long as we have the right direction through devotion, we can get to the stage wherein Jivatma could be brought back to be one with Paramatma. Not that Jivatma is separated from the Paramatma, just that we don't realize it. So we can get to the state wherein we realize that oneness, the ultimate state, the Advaita state of oneness, non-duality. So I just thought I should summarize the story last week that we discussed, the whole of Ramayana, the message that we should derive from it, and the importance of bhakti that can be derived or inferred from the whole epic of Ramayana. Moving on, just few more points in terms of introduction. Ramayana, we discussed the whole story, right? Ramayana has very many variations or very many adaptations in different languages and different cultures. It is very interesting. One epic in form of a large poem. It is considered, Ramayana, like I had mentioned last week, is considered the very first ever poem. That's why Maharshi Valmiki Sage Valmiki is referred to as Adi Kavi, the very first poet who wrote Ramayana in Sanskrit. So that's the original Ramayana. And then there were many other versions of Ramayana. They say there are scores of Ramayana, versions of Ramayana. One of few popular ones, one is Kamba Ramayana. Kamba Ramayana is written in the language of Tamil, which is in South India. Was written by a poet of the 12th century called Kambar. And Kamba Ramayana, it's also known as Ramavatara, highlights the beauty of the various episodes of Ramayana. All these different versions have their own points of view, their own flavor to Ramayana. Again, stressing on various aspects, be it devotion, be it the spiritual principles, etc. So Kamba Ramayana was in the 12th century. Then in the 14th century, there was a version in Telugu called the Ranganatha Ramayana. It was written by Ranganatha. He was also referred to as with a different name ending with the term Reddy, but I don't exactly remember the term. So Ranganatha wrote the Ramayana in the 14th century. He adapted that into the local language of Telugu, again a South Indian language. And the beauty of Ranganatha Ramayana was wherein various episodes would be presented in such a way that various incidents, such a way that there is a message that we could draw from it. Like the message of when the Rama Setu, the bridge was built from the southern tip. We discussed last time in the eastern southern coast of India, there was a small tip. And from there, a few kilometers away is the northern tip of Sri Lanka. And Lord Rama, along with the monkey army, they built this bridge laying out stones which floated on the surface of water. And it seems in this process, they were putting in all these huge boulders. And it seems the whole nature just wanted to join them in that effort in upholding dharma. So it seems the ocean joined them. The ocean reduced its water level so as to help them. It seems the birds started flying. They would pick few little grains of sand and come and drop it on top of it. In midst of all this, there was this insignificant squirrel, a chipmunk. They were there helping the whole effort. And all they could do was carry these little pebbles and then drop it there. Was of no use, technically seen, very insignificant contribution. But it seems Lord Rama noticed how dedicated they were, though they were not really, making significant contribution, but their dedication was equal to the others. And it seems in appreciation, in his gesture of appreciation and his gesture of love and thankfulness towards them, it seems Lord Rama kind of caressed them on their top. He kind of, so to say, pet them on the top. And that's why it seems the Indian squirrels have 3 lines on their back. They are the lines from Lord Rama's finger. That's the belief, and that's the image you have with the squirrels in India have these 3 lines. It's a reminder of their attitude of dedication. So the Ranganatha Ramayana highlights many such things. Very interesting, inspiring way of understanding the spiritual principles. So Ranganatha Ramayana is famous for that. Then there is Ramacharitmanas, which we discussed the last week, written by Goswami Tulsidas, who really composed the Hanuman Chalisa too. And there the focus is completely on wholehearted, full of love, devotion that we could express. So Tulsidas' point of view of Ramayana is that of highlighting devotion, pure, untainted devotion. Then there is Adhyatma Ramayana. Adhyatma Ramayana is in the language of Malayalam, where Amma's ashram is in the state of Kerala. Was written by Ezhuthachan, whose full name is Tunjat Ramanuja Ezhuthachan, who in the 16th century wrote the Adhyatma Ramayana. And Adhyatma Ramayana is more focused on the spiritual principles, on why certain episodes happen, what is the reason behind it, etc. So that we can draw inspiration from it. In understanding why things happen with us, we can easily find some episode in Ramayana which we could relate to and try to understand or get a better understanding of situations that we go through. And the Malayalam version of Ramayana, the Adhyatma Ramayana, is very regularly chanted in the towards the end of the year. I think in October, November, the months is very regularly chanted in literally every house. They go through the various cantos of Ramayana. They would chant it in Malayalam. Every evening they would light a lamp and all the children would sit around. One of the elders would chant it. So Adhyatma Ramayana brought in Ramayana to every house, literally, in terms of chanting and understanding. And not just the Indian languages, Ramayana was adapted in many different languages in different countries, like in Indonesia, in the Java Islands. It was in Laos, in Cambodia, in Burma, in Thailand. All these countries have their versions of Ramayana. So the reach of Ramayana is quite broad, but though we have all these versions, like I mentioned, they all add their own taste, their own flavor to Ramayana. One thing is completely common in all these versions of Ramayana, and that is Lord Hanuman's devotion towards Rama. There is no dispute in that. Sometimes that happens, someone knows Adhyatma Ramayana and someone else may know Valmiki Ramayana, and they may argue, telling, hey, this incident happened. They say Adhyatma Ramayana says this is how it happened. And someone else would say, no, Valmiki Ramayana said this is how it happened, or this never happened. But there is never any debate or any argument or any difference of opinion in terms of Lord Hanuman's devotion towards Lord Rama and his contribution in bringing back Sita to Rama. The amount of his dedication, his love, his devotion, there is no doubt in any of these versions. So that I thought I should highlight before we actually moved on to Hanuman Chalisa. And one other thing, before we actually go into the first verse, Hanuman, we discussed how when Lord Rama walked all the way from central India, he was coming to the northern part of South India. In the state of Karnataka, he was in the the kingdom of Kishkinda, ruled by it was a monkey kingdom. And that's where Hanuman first met Lord Rama. He was asked to go in disguise to find out who are these two? Are they here to attack us? And Lord Hanuman and Lord Rama's meeting was, it's not easily expressible in words. But then there are certain versions of Ramayana which say that Lord Hanuman and Rama met much before that. That was not their very first meeting. Why? Because it seems in some Puranas there's this discussion of how Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu and Brahma, they are the trinities. They are considered the ultimate form of the divine, the creator, the organizer, and the dissolver. So Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu, it seems they had this discussion among themselves, telling Lord Shiva telling Lord Vishnu, you have the most amount of temples, you have most amount of devotees. I wish to become your devotee at some point of time, and I wish to worship you. And Lord Vishnu in turn said, your devotees are so highly spiritual in nature, and they worship, rather than worshipping your form, they worship the Shivalinga, which represents oneness. I have a desire to worship your form yourself in the form of Shivalinga. It seems that's how it went. So Lord Shiva incarnated as Lord Hanuman. Lord Hanuman is known as Amsha of Shiva, a part of Shiva, Amsha Avatara. So it's not Purna Avatara but Amsha Avatara. Let's not get into that debate whether it's a whole incarnation or just a fraction incarnation. Let's not get to that. Hanuman is Lord Shiva incarnated as him, and Lord Rama, Vishnu is incarnated as Lord Rama. Now, going by their discussion, Lord Shiva is supposed to meet Hanuman much later. Lord Shiva as Hanuman is supposed to meet Lord Vishnu as Rama much later, because Lord Rama has to first grow up, then the exile has to happen. Within the exile, the first 10 years, he's in north of India, central India, then he comes to south India, and then Hanuman meets Lord Rama. But the way Hanuman was, he was a monkey. He couldn't hold on to it. He was like, I want to meet Lord Rama even before that. So certain versions of Ramayana, they go like that. And he said, no, I want to meet him. And it seems Lord Shiva would disguise as a sage, he would disguise as a beggar, and try to go and meet Lord Rama. But because he was a prince, there were guards around him, and he could never be met. And finally, he found a way. He, as a little monkey, Hanuman, went with a Madari. Madari is a monkey trainer who would do, all these gimmicks with monkey. And Madari came to entertain the royal prince, the 4 princes, telling, I'm here to train the prince. And that's how they got an entry, and Hanuman, it seems, first met Rama and just entertained him out of devotion. That's one version of Ramayana, wherein it says Hanuman met Rama when he was little and Lord Rama was also little. And eventually they had to separate because they were supposed to meet when Lord Rama came to the south of India during his search for Mother Sita. So that's one version of it. And it seems after meeting, they go to the southern tip. We discussed Rameshwaram the last week. That's where Lord Rama has this desire. Now that I'm going to go for war with Ravana, I'm going to worship Lord Shiva before that. It seems so Lord Rama requested Hanuman to fly to the north to the mountains and get him a Shivalinga. But it seems Hanuman took a long time. So what happened? Mother Sita made a Shivalinga out of her own hands, and they worshipped the Shivalinga. Like Lord Vishnu had mentioned Lord Shiva that I want to worship you in form of Shivalinga. So he got the opportunity to do so. And it seems when Hanuman came back, he was very upset. You asked me to bring Shivalinga, but you're already worshipping, you formed your own Shivalinga and you're worshipping. And it seems Lord Rama gave him the boon that both the Shivalingas would be worshipped forever. That's why in the town of Rameshwaram there is a temple which has two Shivalingas. One that Lord Hanuman brought, the other one that Mother Sita built, so that Lord Rama and Sita could first worship that. So both Shiva and Vishnu worshipped each other in that process. And I shared that because I just wanted to bring it to your attention that there's this version wherein it says Lord Hanuman and Lord Rama met each other when both of them were little and cute, rather than in the serious situation of Lord Rama looking for Mother Sita. Anyway, so I thought I'll share that. Now moving on to the Hanuman Chalisa. It actually begins with a prelude. It begins with a Doha. Doha in Hindi, not Doha, the World Cup happening in Qatar, the FIFA World Cup happening. Doha in Hindi basically means a couplet, like two-line poems, rhyming poems. So a couplet. So Hanuman Chalisa, before the 40 verses begin, it starts with a couplet. And you would, the last two times when we sang Hanuman Chalisa, before we started it with the rhythm, you would have heard me sing two lines. Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj Nij Man Mukur Sudhari Bharnao Raghubar Bimal Jasu Jodayak Phal Chari Buddhihin Tanu Janike Sumira Pavan Kumar Bal Buddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi Harahu Kales Bikar. So I thought today we can discuss this couplet and then we move on to the 40 verses. So unlike the other texts that we discussed in Sanskrit, here it is in the language of Awadhi. And with Awadhi, many of the pronunciations may be a little contradicting with how Sanskrit terms are pronounced. So I don't want to stress too much on the pronunciation. The other texts we would go word by word pronouncing each one. Here, let's not focus too much on word by word pronunciation. Rather, we'll just go with line by line, just get an idea of how it is to be pronounced, and then move on. Plus, I myself am not like an expert in Awadhi. I'm not used to talking Awadhi either. So that's why I thought I don't have the authority of, not that I'm a great scholar in Sanskrit either, but at least I have some idea. That's why I tried. But with Awadhi, I thought, let's not focus too much on the pronunciation. That will also save us time in terms of discussing the points. So we'll just go line by line. I'll just pronounce it and you can just repeat after me once. So we'll begin with Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj. So one difference with the North Indian languages compared to how we pronounce Sanskrit, like we have Chharana. When you have an A in the end in Sanskrit, you pronounce it as a. But in North Indian languages, we would pronounce it as U. We don't go a fully with the mouth open. We keep the mouth closed and just say U, like cult, cult, C-U-L-T, that U. So instead of charana is how we would pronounce it in Sanskrit. Here it will be charana. Saroja is how we would pronounce in Sanskrit. Here it would be saroj. Saroj. So Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj. Shri, please repeat. Charan Saroj Raj. Nija Mana Mukur Sudhari. Nija Mana Mukur Sudhari. Barnao, again, B and V are often interchanged in Awadhi. So it could be Barnao or Varnao. Both are fine. Barnao Raghubar Bimal Jas. Barnao Raghubar बिमल जसु जो दायक फल चारी जो दायक फल चारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके बुद्धिहीन तनु janike. Again K-A-I, in Sanskrit we would say janikai. Here it would be janike. It's like a in air, A-I-R, a, janike. Buddhihina tanu janike. Buddhihina tanu janike. And I should say certain versions, they actually pronounce it as janikai. I've heard certain chanting like that. So again, I'm not an expert, so let's go with this. I don't know which is right, which is wrong. So let's go with Janike. Sumira, again it's not Sumirao. In some Sanskrit we would have said Sumirao. Here it is Sumira. Sumira Pavan Kumar. Sumira Pavan Kumar. Bal Buddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi. Bal Buddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi. Harahu Kales Bikar. Harahu Kales Bikar. So what does Tulsidas, Goswami Tulsidas begin with? He says, Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raj. Shri Guru, the spiritual preceptor, the spiritual master, Guru. Guru's charan, feet, saroj, lotus, so lotus feet. Raj, dust. So dust in the lotus feet of the Guru. Nij man mukur sudhari. Nij man mukur sudh. My nij man, my mind. Mukur, mukur mirror. Sudhari. Make it better. Make it clean. So with the dust in from the dust from the lotus feet of the Guru, let me clean the mirror of my mind. Barnau Raghubar Bimal Jasu. To Barnau, to explain, to describe. Who? To describe Rama, Raghubar. Bimal Jasu. Bimalu, one who is taintless. And Jasu, Yash, Yash. Again, Y and J also get interchanged in Avadhi. So Yash, Jas, both are same. And again, Sa, S and SH could also be interchanged. So it is, in Sanskrit term would be Yasha. Here it is Jasa. So Jasu, one's fame, one's, person's greatness. So let me first describe or call out the greatness of Lord Rama. Begin with that. Jo Dayak Phalichari. Jo, who? Dayak is the giver of what? Phal, fruit. Chari, 4 fruits. We'll discuss about that soon. So Lord Rama bestows upon the devotees the 4 fruits. Buddhihina Tanu Janike. Tanu, the body is buddhihina. Buddhi, intellect or wisdom. Heen, sans. So the body as such is sans wisdom. Janike, understanding that. Understanding that this body as such is lacking wisdom. Sumiro, let me remember, let me in remembrance, let me call out to who? Pavana Kumar, the son of the wind god. Who? Lord Hanuman. Bal Buddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi. Mohi, for me or to me. Dehu, give, please give. Give what? Bal, Buddhi and Vidya. Strength, Bal, Buddhi, wisdom, Vidya, knowledge. Please bestow upon me knowledge, strength and wisdom. Harahu Kales Bikar. Harahu, please and highlight or put an end. Put an end to what? Kales bikar. Bikar, vikara, we have come across that term in Sanskrit. Vikara, my tendencies, my habits, my negativities. Harahu kales. Kales, klesha is again the term in Sanskrit. In Avadhi, it would be kales. Kales is conflict. So my conflicting qualities, please put an end to that conflict. Is what the first prelude begins with. The Doha begins with. So the very first thing to notice here is Goswami Tulsidas begins with salutations to Guru. Any important deed that we are venturing into, the very first thing we need to do is seek the blessings of the spiritual master. The spiritual master plays a vital role in our journey as we try to grow spiritually. We discussed about the path of devotion, the path of knowledge. Both, the common denominator is to let go of the ego, and that way understanding your true self. To let go of the ego in terms of devotion, what do? We try to surrender our ego to the Guru, to the beloved deity. But surrendering the ego is never an easy thing. If at all it is possible, it would be to someone who we have great confidence in, and who is capable of getting our confidence is someone who has already reached the state of perfection. Such a being is a Sadguru. So we all need a Sadguru. Think about each one of us. We are all trying to fight against our ego, let go of our ego. Think of Amma not being in the scene at all, not being in the picture at all. How easy would it be for us to let go of our ego? Simple example, two people in satsang, they cannot face each other. They look at each other, there'll be a fist fight. There are some people like that. But in Amma's presence, when Amma is there in the city doing a program, they probably would be standing next to each other doing crowd control or doing food seva or some such. When there is Guru, automatically letting go of the ego becomes much easier. So that's why the presence of Guru in the path of devotion is indispensable. Guru plays a very, very important role in helping us letting go of our ego. So starting with Guru, that's why Tulsidas is highlighting the importance of Guru. The very first thing, the very first term used in Hanuman Chalisa is Shri Guru, the auspicious Guru, Shri Guru. Then the next, it comes Charana Saroj. Saroj, lotus, Charana, the feet, the lotus feet of the Guru. And we have discussed this very many times, the significance of lotus flower. Lotus flower signifies complete blossoming, complete opening up to the creation, complete opening up of the heart, wherein we just get to a state of complete acceptance and understanding, the state of oneness. Everyone is but me. I am but everyone. So there is complete acceptance there. So that ultimate state is what the lotus flower represents. And lotus flower also represents how a lotus can blossom in a filthy pond. The water may be full of algae, may be full of other filth, but in midst of that filth, there is this beautiful blossoming. The moment the lotus flower blossoms, all the filth gets out of focus. When we look at it, our focus will be the beauty of the lotus flower. Like the picture I have shown there, there is filth or not very beautiful things on the leaf. There are some dry stuff, brown stuff, but I'm sure our first focus was on the lotus flower than any of those unnecessary things around. That is the influence of the Guru, because we have negativities in life and positivities in life. Guru helps us highlight and express the positive thing, to bring that positiveness, that freshness, that beauty to life. So that is why we refer to the feet of the Guru as lotus. It signifies the qualities that the lotus reflects. So Guru brings that punctuation in life, making life meaningful. In spite of all the negativity, shortcomings we have, Guru makes our life punctuated. The Guru punctuates the life. The Guru brings meaning to our life. And then the term Manamukur. So you're going to get Saroj Raj Manamukur. Raj translates to dust. So the dust that settles on Guru's feet, with that dust I'll clean the mirror of my mind. Just is a way of highlighting the exalted state the Guru is in. The Guru is in such an exalted state that even the insignificant dust in Guru's feet can cleanse my mind. So it's just a simile used so as to highlight the exalted state a true Sadguru, a realized master, would be in. Even insignificant dust in the spiritual master's feet is of importance to us, is of significance. So that is the highlight there. With that, what do we do? Mana mukur. Mana, the mind, mukur, the mirror. We cleanse the mirror of my mind. Here the mind is equated to mirror, because mirror reflects. What does the mirror do? It reflects our true self to us. The mind has the ability to, though we always think of mind in a negative connotation, mind is actually our inner conscience. We don't use it in the right sense, thus it gets a negative connotation. So the mind is capable of reflecting our true potential to us, but we fail to look at it, or we fail to realize that. So how we use the mind is most important. It's like, many years ago now in Amritapuri, when Krishna Jayanti happens, when the celebration of Lord Krishna's birthday happens in Amritapuri, it transforms into like Vrindavan. Everyone is so joyous, there is celebration everywhere. And in the afternoon, Amma would come out to play the game of Uriyadi, wherein boys and girls, right from tiny tots to older ones, there'll be this pot suspended on a rope through a pulley. At the other end of the rope, someone would pull it up and down. Then children, or they are, playing the role of the gopas and the gopis. They are trying to break the pot with a stick, and they form a line. They run towards it, and as they try to hit it, someone would pull the rope so that the pot goes up and they cannot break it. That's the game. It's so much fun. Amma just, brings in so much energy. She would enjoy. She would laugh, and everyone. The whole scene is a scene of enjoyment and so much, happiness, joy that it gives. So I was once watching the tiny tots. They were supposed to start, and there were this bunch of sticks, and all of them, and they were said, yes, you can go. They all went and they all grabbed a stick. There was one child who got the stick and just started going around and beating everyone, hitting everyone with the stick. There was another child, and so he was creating fear in people. We're like, I don't want to be near this guy, though he's cute, but I better, thanks but no thanks. I don't want to be around him. And there was another kid who got the stick and he started throwing it up. It would go, it would spin, and then he'll try to catch it. But in that process, he was dropping it on people's head. People were again not very happy with it. There was a third child, I remember, very little, like how Bodham is now, very little. He just took, and he was dressed like Gopa. Then he would just use it as a flute and just stand in various poses as Krishna. And because he was so tiny, it looked all the more cute. So I was just watching this. I thought, I was reminded of that scene. It is the same stick that all the three kids got. But the feeling that they created around them with the stick in their hand was completely different. The first one, completely created a feeling of aversion. I don't want to be around him. The second one created a feeling of caution. Like, I should be a little cautious when he's throwing it up. But the third one created a feeling of, attraction. People were just watching him. He was doing nothing, just standing like this. After some time, he would go somewhere else, stand in a different way, again holding the flute. It was so charming to watch. So the mind is like that. When we have the mind, how we use it is very important. There is the Amrita Bindhu Upanishad, wherein there is a verse that goes as Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. It says Mana eva manushyanam. Mana eva, mind verily is what? Karanam is the cause. Mind verily is the cause of what? Manushyanam manushyanam bandha mokshayoho. Human beings, both bondage and liberation. So mind is verily the cause of bondage or attachment, and mind, the same mind is verily the cause of detachment and liberation too. So how we use the mind? Are we using the mind to get bound, or are we using the mind to get liberated is up to us. So it's not the fault of the mind. It is us. It is how we look at it. And what makes us not let the mind reflect our true self to us? The layer of filth that is on the mind. And what is the layer of filth? It is our own ego, our selfish attitude. Our ego is what shrouds the mirror and stops it from reflecting our true self to us. And because we have the layer of our ego over it, we are not able to understand our true self. It's like the fairy tale of Snow White, the evil queen who always wanted to be the most beautiful person in the world. She had this magical mirror who would speak to her. She would stand in front of the mirror and ask, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" Right? And the mirror would say, "You are the most beautiful." And she would be super happy, put it away. Next day again she'll ask. And as Snow White grew, she was her stepdaughter, if I'm not wrong. My understanding is right. And as Snow White grew into a beautiful woman, one fine day, the mirror said, "It's Snow White who is the fairest of all." And she was completely taken aback. She was so upset, she wanted to put an end to Snow White. She sends Snow White with a confidant of hers to have her executed, killed in the forest. And he takes Snow White to the forest, but he loved Snow White for her, the way she was, her character. He said, "I cannot kill you. I'll just leave you here. Please don't come back to the palace. That way I won't get punished, but I don't want to kill you." And then she settles with the 7 dwarfs, right? That's how the story goes. And the woman again asks the mirror, assuming that she died, she asks the mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" And the mirror says, "Snow White." And she realizes Snow White is still alive. And she goes in disguise, searching for Snow White, tries to poison her, kill her. But in the whole process, she herself gets killed. The mirror always gave her the right answer. But it is her ego which refused to accept that answer. That is the shroud that we have. When our conscience sometimes gives us the right decision to make, it is my ego that would make a no into a yes into a no, right? It's my selfish thoughts that would make, refuse to understand what my mind is actually telling me, what my conscience is actually telling me. So I want Guru's dust from Guru's feet to wipe out that filth, and that filth is my ego. Guru's presence, Guru's example. Guru teaches us through example of how to get rid of that ego. So that is the biggest blemish we have on the mirror, and Guru's grace. We need Guru's grace so as to let go of it. So Raj, that dust is what we need. So Tulsidas, he begins with that Shri Guru Charana Saroj Raj Nijamanu Mukur Sudhari. And he says, Baranao Raghubar. So once I have cleansed my mind, the very first step is cleanse your own mind. 2, cleanse your own mind. Sorry, 1, cleanse your own mind with the grace of the Guru. 2, then I call out to Lord Rama. Baranao Raghubar. I describe Lord Rama's glory, his yash, his jasu. I call out to the glory of Lord Rama, whose glory is unblemished. is untainted. So before calling out to the disciple Hanuman, first Tulsidas invokes Lord Rama, the Guru, again highlighting the importance of the Guru. Then he says, when I call out to the Guru, he bestows upon me phalichari. Baranao Raghuvar Bimal Jasu, Jo Dayak, one who gives me phalichari, the 4 fruits. What are the 4 fruits? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. What are the 4 desires that we can have in life, or what can we aim for in life? 4 things: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Dharma, my responsibilities and righteousness. Artha, accumulating wealth. Kama, my desires. And Moksha, liberation. The Indian scriptures don't say don't accumulate wealth, don't desire for anything. That's not practical. We have the tendency to desire, and we can very well accept or accumulate wealth. But how should it be? Wealth and dharma should be together, hand in hand. We gain wealth through righteousness, and we use wealth so as to protect righteousness. We gain wealth sticking to our responsibilities and duties, and we use the wealth again to uphold dharma. They should be together. And kama and moksha, we do have the tendency to desire for mundane things. It's fine, but at least try to grow and try starting to desire for higher level of things. Eventually, you should tune your mind such that it desires for only liberation. It could be over ages, it could be over births, but have desire for liberation. Tune your mind up to that. So both of them together. So it's not that we don't need any of them. As long as we are just stuck in the vicious cycle of desire, from desire comes, we have a desire for wealth, we accumulate wealth. The more wealth we accumulate, it's not that our desire disappears, now our desire becomes even bigger. Now, because we have bigger desire, bigger wealth. Bigger wealth, more desire. That's how it works. So instead of being stuck in that cycle, you need to go from dharma, using dharma, go all the way up to moksha. So these 4 goals or motives or desires we may have, arthas we may have, Lord Rama bestows all these 4 to us. So it depends on what we crave for. Talking about desires, Amma gives this example every now and then when we have the daily webcast. Amma talks about how so many of Amma's children first came to Amma desiring for things like, I want this, I want that, I've not gotten my green card, I've lost my job, my girlfriend left me, my wife and I are not doing well in terms of our relationship, I have a health issue and this and that. And though they initially came like that, being with Amma for so many years, some of them have let go of their materialistic desires, and from moving from a 6-bedroom mansion in US sometimes, they move to Amritapuri. The whole family lives in a 20 feet by 20 feet room. That's the level of growth they have shown. But letting go of desire is not that easy. But as long as we channelize it in the right way, desires sometimes will help us grow. Like how we discussed, the mind can help us to liberation or to bondage. How we use it is important. Like someone who was very fond of big houses and maintaining them, they have a seva in the ashram wherein they are in the ashram building construction and maintenance of building. So their tendency of being in real estate is there, but now they are doing it with a different attitude. Or someone who loves cars and loves driving, they take up driving seva. So their desire is the same, but the attitude is different. Someone else who is obsessed with computer probably does some computer science research seva. They are still with that desire, but that desire, when channelized in right direction, is helping them grow. So that is the important part, to get kama, the tendency, but directed in the right direction. And then It is 8:26. So let's stop it here because we've discussed the first 4 lines, right? Buddhi hina tani janike is the next 4. So we don't want to go over time. So we'll conclude the discussion here and continue with the second part of the Doha, the Prelude, and we'll conclude now with the singing of the Hanuman Chalisa. Please hold on until we get the mic and everything in place, and we'll start the chanting in a couple of minutes. Om Amriteshwariyai Namah. Wait. श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारि बरना रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फल बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरा पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तेहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज राज सुबेसा, कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा, हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे, कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे, शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन, तेज प्रताप महाजग वंदन, विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करिबे को आतुर, प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम, जय हनुमान। सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम, जय हनुमान। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा, भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज सवारे, लाय संजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुवीर हरषि उर लाए, रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बढ़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई, सहस बदन तुम्हरो जस गावै, हस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै, सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित अहीसा, जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते, कवि कोविद कहि सकै कहाते, तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा, राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा। सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम, जय हनुमान। सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम, जय हनुमान। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना, युग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु, लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु, प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि, जलधि लांघि गए अचर जनाहि, दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते, राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे, सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना, आपन तेज सम्हारो आपै, तीनों लोक हाँकते कापै, भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम, जय हनुमान। सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम, जय हनुमान। आसे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा, संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावै, सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा, और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै, चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा, परिसिद्ध जगत उजियारा, साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे, अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहा रघुपति के दासा। सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम, जय हनुमान। सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम सिया राम, जय हनुमान। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै। अंत काल रघुवरपुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित्त न धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटै मिटै सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, झूठ ही बंदी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साकी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय मह डेरा। कीजे नाथ हृदय मह डेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। ओ माता सीता की जय, ओ माता सीता की जय। ओ भ्राता लक्ष्मण की जय, ओ भ्राता लक्ष्मण की जय। भरत और शत्रुघ्न की जय, भरत और शत्रुघ्न की जय। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय। Amamriteshwari Namah. Let us conclude sincerely praying to the Almighty that every being in the creation be happy, content and peaceful. Let us chant the Shanti mantra together 3 times. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु। लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।